Computer shut off, the internet went off. I'm here. I live in the DMV area and it's snowing. So yeah, everything went off. So let's just get back into it and we're gonna get started to get on with the get down. All right. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. Like I said before, we gonna have a good old drink and talk about Portia's end of her career because this show that she just did shows that she is no longer going to be on TV. She is no longer the fan favorite. Everybody is over Porsha and her bullshit, including her family. Okay, so let's just take a sip to that. So let's get into it, y'all. So the episode starts out with Porsha and Dennis having like a standoff at the door, okay? Hey, Emma, thanks for coming back. I'm going to start over, so you're probably going to hear some of the same stuff again. But thank you so much for jumping back on. I'm going to get through the whole thing, y'all. So anyway, Dennis is standing at the door. Porsha is like, you know what? You come on in. Let's have a conversation. We're going to have to be at the hospital together with Pilar and getting her tonsils taken out. So let's talk about what happened. Dennis like, nah, I got something to do at 5:00. I ain't about to be coming in here with your foolishness. I mean, no, I just see you tomorrow morning. I just be back tomorrow morning. First of all, Porsha, I wouldn't trust you as far as I can throw you. There is no way I'm coming in your house in a secluded area to talk to you. For you to say I done put my hands on you or something or make up some more shit because you don't want to look like the bad guy in the situation. Or for you to come in here and try to create some scenario where it's my fault and you know that you the one started all that commotion in Mexico. So, you know what? I don't blame Dennis like Emma is saying. I don't blame Dennis either. I really don't. I would not invite her into my house because all you doing is inviting the devil. I wouldn't go in her house because you just inviting her to do more theatrics and do some more bullshit. So I agree, Emma. So in the next scene, Lauren goes to Aunt Liz's house and they are doing some things to set up for the Hosea Helps event for the opening for the new center. And so they're going to make signs that say no justice, no peace. And Aunt Liz begins to talk to Lauren and really thank her about the retreat that she put together. And she was really encouraging her, telling her that she really did a good job with the retreat, which Aunt Liz, I love you, girl, but no, that wasn't a good scene there. She tried. Lauren put her, good old best foot forward, but I think you got to have people that are willing to deal with their own BS and accept responsibility for their actions, which Porsha does not do any of that to even have that type of scenario work for the family as a whole. Okay. So she talks about having a discussion with Dennis. She says she thinks that Dennis is an amazing father. He was a great addition to the family. Basically, she really likes Dennis and she wants to sit down and talk to him and basically encourage Dennis to continue to be a part of the family and continue to be a positive part of Pilar's life and just continue to be the great dad that he is. And with her even being willing to sit down with Dennis, that lets me know that Dennis was innocent in that whole situation in Mexico. Because my thing is, with Aunt Liz being the way that she is and being very pro, justice and activism, things like that, there is no way that she would be around somebody or let alone wanting to have lunch and encourage somebody that treated her niece badly in that situation. So I feel like Aunt Liz is like, you know what? Let me encourage this young man and let him know that I ain't part of the foolishness. Okay. And she even Lauren sneaks it in and says, can you call my baby daddy too? Because, since you the baby daddy whisperer, maybe you can talk to him too. So then they're in the hospital. It shows Porsha and Dennis, they're at the hospital and they can't have cameras in there. So you can see like them having where one of them probably took pictures of Pilar or each other holding the baby, dealing with her throughout her whole process of healing with her having her tonsils removed. So they're in this hospital room together for pretty much 2.5 days by themselves. And they're not really talking to each other, apparently. So it had to have been super crazy awkward. And then for Porsha to not even ever accept responsibility for anything that she does, Dennis probably was like, it's not even worth it to bring it up in front of her. And I'm not about to be arguing with this dingbat in front of my daggone daughter. So let me just make sure my daughter is well and I don't get kicked out of this hospital. So that's that on that. Which Porsha never takes accountability for her wrongdoing. Porsha always blames someone else for her wrongdoing when Porsha knows she's in the wrong. Absolutely. I have yet to see in this episode where Porsha took responsibility for anything that she did. And it's really very annoying. So while Dennis is in the hospital, Aunt Liz FaceTimes him and she asks him, that's is where she invites him to the lunch so that they can talk about things. And, it's her pretty much reassuring him as to how she feels about him and just wanting to talk to him and let him know that she's still team Dennis. So Dennis agrees to meet with her and he's very appreciative of her phone call. And, they're going to meet up and chat. So this portion of the episode really kind of broke my heart watching the scenario of Porsha and Londi. I really like Londi, and I think that Londi is too truthful for Porsha. I think Londi tells Porsha about herself, and she's not going to sit up and deal with Porsha's bullshit. So that's why Porsha be shitting on Londi all the time, and I really don't like that. So Londi comes in, she's a little nervous because Porsha then turned into the turn up tantrum monster in daggone Mexico. So she don't know who she's going to be dealing with if she says something that Porsha doesn't like. So she's kind of nervous about meeting up, but she still wants to let Porsha know that I don't appreciate the old bullshit that you be doing. So Porsha shows up. Londi says, listen, I want to start this off by apologizing to you. Here's the robe that kind of caused a lot of the commotion. And here, you can have it back. Me and Lauren only got the robe in the first place because we wanted to get Dennis there because we knew how important it was for you to have him there. So you can have the robe back. Porsha replies, no, girl, it's okay. I don't want that robe because Simon says I can't have it. I'm like, so do you not want the robe or you don't want it because Simon said you can't have it? I'm confused. And here's my thing. We've been talking about this damn robe for the longest. The robe is $500. I could go buy the robe if I wanted to. Get another robe. And I'm sure that, she still want that damn robe, but I'm glad they decided to move the hell on because the robe was getting real ridiculous. Okay. So moving right along, Londi goes into saying that, listen, at the tequila tasting, we talked about a couple of things that we didn't express at the dinner necessarily. Dennis told me that you told him to fire me. And Porsha says, I don't remember that. So not you didn't say it. You don't remember saying it. Porsha, you are so full of crap. I don't even know how you dispense it all from your body. It's ridiculous. Like, that you did that. And then this whole scene totally took a turn for the worse. And I really was pissed off how Porsha now starts to blame it on Londi because she's coming to her and trying to get clarity. She didn't come in there blaming her. She just said, this is what was said. How you gonna act? That's basically what Londi was saying. She's like, so did you do this? Did you not? Whatever. And her first reaction is to be defensive. That lets me know right there, you guilty as charged. Okay. So then instead of Porsha saying, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't do it, she says, and you know what? The nerve of Dennis to say something like that to you. I'm so glad that I'm glad that y'all like him and y'all close to him and all this stuff. But you know what? If somebody came to me like that, because I'm your cousin and this is what I do, because I got your back. Okay. If somebody comes to me and says something like that, I'm going to say, well, why do you feel so okay to come and say that to me about my cousin? Like, because your problem, Porsha, is the first thing you want people to do is agree with you and lie for you. Nobody's going to respond like that. If somebody came to me and said my cousin told them to fire me, I'm going to do just what Londi is doing. I'm going, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I'm going to come to you, to the source, and I'm be like, so what's up? What was said? Because ain't everybody is not innocent until proven is innocent until proven guilty. And you, my good girl, are always guilty. Okay. So all she did was ask you a simple question, and you over here acting like a jury is out on a case for you, and you about, this is just like a whole scene. I'm like, wow, this girl really never, she is constantly deflecting. She never wants to take responsibility for her actions. And still, not even on topic, she rolls into some other bullshit. Then she starts talking about how Londi wasn't there for her when she got divorced. And Londi said, well, girl, I was in college. What the hell? I'm like, wow. So you're going to blame. So instead of you even saying, first of all, let's make it clear. She never said whether she did it or not. She just said she don't remember. So the fact that you said that you don't remember, there's definitely a possibility that you did do it. And you know you did it. And you just mad that you got caught. That's all that is. And then Londi was like, I feel like you didn't have my back at all. You were constantly taking up for Storm, and it's just really hurt my feelings or whatever. And instead of Porsha acknowledging the girl's feelings, she's like, oh, well, I treat y'all the same. Y'all basically about on the same level. And Londi was like, well, I feel like we could be a little closer. Like we could share each other's personal situations and things like that. And I feel like you don't do that with me. And, even Dennis said, why is Porsha so mean to you? And Dom and Londi confirmed that Dom and Lauren kind of gave a side. Lauren, the assistant, kind of gave a shake nod of the head, like, yeah, Porsha do be doing you dirty or whatever. And Porsha was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. She just never, ever, ever takes responsibility for anything that she does. And it's just very annoying to watch, and I'm sure to deal with. Cordell warned us. Thank you so much for commenting. Alexandra Barr says Cordell warned us. Porsha is a knucklehead. Damn right. No second season for this crap. And do not let Porsha return to RHOA. Let Porsha and Simon run into the sunset. We are exhausted with these two. You and me both. Amen to this comment. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Porsha doesn't care about nobody but herself and money. That is the only reason Porsha mess with men, because they have money. Listen, okay? Because what Candy was saying about homegirl when she get drunk and how she hangs with the with the ladies, I don't know. She might be playing for both teams and just whatever benefits her at the time, okay? Emma says, yes, Cordell warned everybody about Porsha. Yeah, first of all, Porsha is an airhead. And I think that they both had their own reasons as to why they were together. I'm not going to say nothing about Mr. Man, but listen, they are not together anymore. And I see why, because Cordell probably got tired of dealing with it, okay? So after Porsha gets up from the table because she is just so upset that Londi is even coming to her and confronting her. Like, the nerve of you to confront me about the things that I do. I'm like, girl, I could not deal. Cousin, sister, mother, friend, I couldn't deal with Porsha. I'm trying to tell you, because me and her would end up having a knockout, drag out situation, and she wouldn't win because she full of shit, and I can't be around people that's full of shit. And I see Londi probably not feeling that way either. Then they even talk about a situation where Londi was actually Porsha's assistant. And apparently the way that Porsha fired her was so messed up. She has Londi come to lunch, or she's at her house or whatever. Wherever they were, Dom was there. And she says, oh yeah, Londi, this is my new assistant. You fired. Are you kidding me? This how you treat your cousin? And you didn't even tell the girl why you were firing her. So she ends up, Londi finally finds out that Porsha fired her because she put baby oil. I guess she packed the baby oil incorrectly and it got all over Porsha's lambskin Chanel bag. And instead of you using that as a teaching moment for your cousin, or even simply explaining to her, listen, these types of things can't happen. This is very expensive. I'm going to have to let you go, because if you didn't even know how to handle something like this, I can't have this happening again. I'm going to go ahead and get somebody else. Instead, you bring Dom along and fire her and embarrass her in front of your new assistant. That's very fucked up and not very family friendly. Okay. So then Porsha walks off, pissed off and angry to the highest level of festivity, saying, this is why I don't want to be dealing with my family, because everybody always talking about I ain't there for them. And da-da-da-da-da-da. All of this because you don't want to accept responsibility for what you just did and how you just offended this girl. And because you lying, because you know you told Dennis to fire her and you don't want to admit it. I'm like, wow, you go to the ends of the earth to defend your bullshit. And it's crazy. It's very weird and it needs a lot of help. Like Porsha really needs somebody to sit down and talk to her and talk her out of her own bullshit. Okay. So then Londi begins to cry because Londi is like, wow, I didn't, you know what? From now on, I'm going to just sweep shit under the rug with Miss Porsha. And I'm just really going to distance myself because I can't. It really upset her that Porsha was acting the way that she was acting over her simply being honest with her and having a conversation with her about her feelings. And so she's like, you know what? I'm sorry if I upset you. Londi is crying, and Porsha now wants to come over and console her cousin. I'm like, Porsha, you are just wow. The fall from grace is very bad for you. Like, I cannot believe the foolery that she is doing right now. So in the next scene, we see Aunt Liz and Dennis meeting at the restaurant. And they meet at Goche's Breakfast Bar, which I really appreciate them highlighting a lot of the Black-owned businesses in Atlanta. And I really want to try out Goche's Breakfast Bar too, because I heard that food is bomb. And the food that Dennis and Aunt Liz ate was bomb too. But anyway, getting back to what happened with Porsha. So they're sitting down and talking, and Aunt Liz is just pretty much uplifting Dennis and encouraging him and telling him that he's an excellent Black father and he needs to continue to be that despite all of the things that happen with Porsha. And she even reassures him by saying that she knows that he didn't do anything wrong and he was just trying to get himself out of a situation that he was placed in the midst of that was very negative. And Dennis appreciates Aunt Liz saying that, and she invites him to the Hosea Helps event. And he says, well, I can't come. And Aunt Liz says, well, Lauren told me to ask you about hot dogs. So Dennis is going to supply some hot dogs and have a distributor drop it off. But he has an event in Detroit, which I'm like, Dennis going to continue to have events from here on out because he ain't ready to be dealing with this family or Porsha and her stuff. And I agree, because keep yourself out of the BS, Dennis, because it's just not a good look for you at this point. So then in another scene, we see Porsha talking to her mom and basically talking about Pilar still kind of not eating. She's trying to get Pilar to eat. You can see where she's made her some eggs and some applesauce and softer things that she can eat so that she can get used to eating again. And she details what happened in the hospital with her mom and how her and Dennis weren't really talking. Only time they talked was when the Uber Eats person was coming and they ordered some food or whatever the case may be. But, basically they brushed the situation under the rug and just were there for Pilar, which is what they should have done. That's not the place to be talking about that. And ain't nobody trying to be getting kicked out of no damn hospitals, child. And we don't need Porsha throwing hospital beds across the damn room. So then Porsha has a chef come over to her house in the next scene to show her how to make different foods, Liberian foods for Simon. So the chef brings snack-like things. I guess Porsha didn't communicate well enough with her as to the fact that this was an actual dinner and not like a finger food type of situation. So she taught her how to make some sort of Liberian, like meat patties and things like that. Then Porsha ordered food to come in to accommodate the rest of the meal. So Simon comes over, they sit down and talk, and Simon finally shows her his completed divorce papers where they are him and his ex-wife Fallon are finally divorced. So Porsha is like, great, now we can move on. We're buying this house and we're doing these things, and now I can start planning the wedding. And it really bothered me about Porsha and this whole situation with the house with Simon, because in the baby special when Porsha and Dennis were together, Dennis was trying to do the same things that her and Simon are doing, but Porsha was again very immature, and I feel like she's only willing to move forward with buying a house and moving and doing all these things with Simon because she's trying to piss Dennis off. And I'm just like, you will go to the ends of the earth, even to go as far as to making yourself miserable with this man and putting on this front of you being in this relationship that you're so happy with just to show Dennis up. And at this point, you're really making yourself look like an idiot because you're doing the absolute most and getting nothing out of it. And it's just really, really crazy to me. So in the next scene, Aunt Liz and the family meet up. They're all wearing red shirts and overalls to represent how hard the patriarch figure in their family, Hosea Williams, always wore this to indicate, I'm not better than anybody. I'm always willing to get down and get into the midst of the work with everyone, and there's always work to be done. So I want to fit in with everybody in society. So this was his uniform. Okay. So they all decided to wear the uniform to the event. They cut the ribbon, took pictures as a family. But before all of that, Porsha couldn't come because she was Pilar was very dehydrated, so they had to take her back to the hospital. And Porsha was very upset. They had to give her Pilar IVs and things, so she couldn't come to the event, obviously, because she has to take care of her child, which that comes first. So moving right along, everybody, all the pictures are taken, everybody's mingling and all this stuff. And Aunt Liz is giving the history of Hosea Helps and the family and all that good stuff. And her and Simon end up talking because Simon comes to represent Porsha. So Simon and Aunt Liz are talking, and she thanks him for coming. And Simon says he'll do anything to protect the integrity of their co-parenting situation, talking about Porsha and Dennis, because Aunt Liz tells him that she appreciates him being a part of helping with Porsha, allowing Dennis to be around. And so he says, yeah, I'm going to be a part of anything to help with protect their co-parenting situation and be a part of it, because we have to be a family and things like that. And then he says Porsha comes from a solid tree, and he is constantly reminding her of her legacy with Hosea Williams. And then she says that he also says to Aunt Liz, Porsha's family needs to start treating Porsha better as Hosea Williams' granddaughter and basically appreciating her more. I'm like, I know you fucking lying. Are you kidding me? They need to start appreciating Porsha when Porsha does every single thing she can to embarrass this family on national TV. Get the fuck out of here, Simon. Like, literally, get out of here. Because you don't even know what you're talking about. I feel like Simon just be saying stuff so that he can get some shock value to prove his space on the show. That was so disrespectful. You are talking to a civil rights leader's daughter that opened up a whole facility. First of all, Simon, what the hell did you donate with your broke ass? Because you talk about everybody talking about all this money you got, and Porsha is with you because of your money. We all know that to be true. I'm gonna say allegedly because we see what's going on with Tasha K in these streets. I ain't trying to be on the list, but anyway, we see what's going on with her family and how her family treats her, and you coming in here defending something that you absolutely know nothing about. So I felt that was very disrespectful for him to even think that he could set his chapped ass lips to say some shit like that to Aunt Liz. I was floored, and I was disrespected for her. Okay. I'm like, the spirit of civil rights would have came up out of me and told him about himself, because that right there, you tried it. So in the last and final scene, Porsha and Dennis meet for this doomsday conversation that they done had. So Porsha comes in here with this tight ass outfit on and a fur on top of it. And Dennis was like, oh, did I buy you that fur or whatever? And she's like, no, this was a press release gift from Simon. Like, she in here showing off. We like, girl, we know you done wore this cat suit because you trying to have him see them booty cheeks sticking out, and you apparently got in the gym, so you trying to eat healthier and all this stuff. And this is 4 months later from all the previous times they were filming. So you're showing off, and it's given no, okay? So then they start having meaningless small talk about the wedding and all this, that, and the third. Dennis is asking her like he really gives a damn, which he really don't. We know he don't. So he's asking her, how's the engagement going? How's all this and all this, that, and the third? And she's like, really? Yeah, it's going good or whatever. And, just trying to show off. And so then he says, okay, what about the house? What about y'all? You got that prenup? And she was like, okay, Mama Gina. First of all, if you think that you're not signing a prenup with Simon, you've lost your mind. Fallon signed a prenup. And if you think that you're going to marry this man and not sign a prenup, if he really does have money, if anything, you need to be having him sign one so that you don't end up broke. Because word on the street, allegedly, he ain't got all the money that you think he do. So Dennis, really, I wouldn't even be asking her that question. I would just be making sure she ain't trying to get in my pockets when he leaves her destitute on the side of the road with not a coin to spare. Okay. So he asked her about where they're moving to and all this stuff, and she's very vague about not wanting to tell him where she lives. And I'm like, are you really kidding me? You're going to be this childish right now where you don't want to tell this man where you're moving to? And then he talks about, he's like, wow, you moving in the, so she says, we moving in the city. And he's basically looking at her like, wow, I wanted to move in the city and you made a big old stink about it when I was like, let's sell our houses and get a place in the city because it makes more sense. Both of their workplaces are there. She was working at Dish at the time and it was easier for her to get there. All his restaurants were there. Everything made more sense for them to live in the city. But for Porsha to be rebellious and everything to be her way and nobody else's way, she pushed back on that with Dennis, but she's ready to move forward with Simon and do it. And you know what? Maybe it's different people, different timing, whatever. But it's all fake to me. I'm just like, whatever. So they closed on this house, apparently, that the house of lies that they about to be living in. And then Portia's like, yeah, and I'm going to start looking at schools for Pilar. And he's like, what you mean you looking at schools? Why am I not included in this? Like, we have to look at schools. I'm her father. And he basically is like, listen, I understand that you're married and getting married and I'm happy for you and all that stuff. But what you're not about to do is forget about me as Pilar's dad. I'm going to be a part of these important decisions. So Porsha keeps on saying, well, I tried. You didn't want to do it the way I wanted to do it. And bingo, right there, the way you want to do it. Everybody is not about to be dancing to your music, Porsha. You can't tell this man what to do. You sit up here and this whole conversation is about what you want, how you want to handle things, how Dennis needs to listen to you and do what you want him to do. And that's a load of your bullshit. You need to get over yourself. Pilar is both of y'all child, whether you like it or not. You made the decision to lay down with him and have a kid. And now that the man wants to be a part of the kid's life and actually have some say so, you acting like you don't want to be a part of that. You just want him to do whatever and bow down to you. And that's not how it goes. So I agree with Dennis. Porsha was like, Dennis said, you get that paperwork I sent you? Yeah, I sent you some paperwork. She's like, what paperwork? The paperwork I'm talking about is like, a calendar where like we can write down what holidays you get, Pilar, and then we'll write down when I get her. And no, that's not what we doing. And then it says it's so much more than that. It's about, we got to talk about religion. We got to talk about schools. We got to talk about vacations. We got to talk about, all these different holidays and all these different things on how we're going to raise her as a unit and be on the same page. It's not just about holidays and calendar events. And then he's like, and you getting up in the middle of the night going to London and stuff like that. Like, we need to talk about how that's supposed to go. Like, you having to do all these things. And basically, how is Pilar going to be cared for while you got to get up and randomly do all this stuff? I need to be involved in that. And she's like, oh, don't try to make me look like a bad mom. I don't think Dennis was trying to make her look like a bad mom. I think he was really highlighting the fact that Simon is brand new. And if you getting up in the middle of the night and my daughter is living with him and you leaving my baby in the house with him, I need to know what's going on. I need to know a plan for her care. Do I trust this man around my kid by himself? I think that's more of where Dennis was going, not trying to throw a dagger at her for getting up in the middle of the night and going somewhere, which also, yeah, you might need to have plans for this stuff that you're just randomly doing, especially if this is some sort of vacation and not something where you're going on tour for your book or all these different things that you're doing. So then she gets into an uproar and says, well, you don't really do nothing for her anyway, but pay for school. So what are you talking about? You're not about to try to make me look like a bad mom. Excuse me, y'all. It's talking about Porsha and her disrespect. Got my throat dry. So she goes into Dennis saying that she's a bad mom, which is not what the man said. And then she tries to low rate him and say, well, you know what? If you want to try to get full custody or whatever, he's like, it's called joint custody. And I'm so glad that he clarified that, because all on social media, Porsha tried to make it seem like this man was trying to take her kid away from her, basically trying to get sympathy from the public. When you up here telling a whole bag of lies, it's just ridiculous. This man just wants to be a part of his child's life, and he wants to be a part of her life the way he wants to be a part, not on your terms. And that's Porsha's problem. That's her problem. She wants him to do things the way she wants to do it. She doesn't want to do them in a way that makes sense for him to be Pilar's father. She wants him to do things in the way that makes sense for her and him being Pilar's father. Then she keeps on reiterating, I just Pilar's dad. Well, you don't have anything to do with me and all this, that, and the third. And she was like, yeah, now you showing your true colors and all this, that, and the third. You're showing your true colors, and now we see it all. And then it says, oh, no. You the one look stupid. Everybody sees you for who you are. Yeah, you look dumb, not me. I'm just here as a loving dad trying to be a part of my kid's life, and you're just obviously trying to make it difficult because you're bitter. And I'm just like, this whole situation right here was so stupid, all because Porsha wants to be in control, and she gets mad when people don't believe her bullshit. It's unfucking believable. Like, my mind is boggled right now. And I think now the world sees Porsha for the childish grown woman that she is. You are 40 years old and you can't even have a conversation with somebody that doesn't agree with you. You and Nene need to be friends. Look at Nene, Porsha. That's you. That's you. Everybody is always wrong. It's never your fault. You never want to accept responsibility for your behavior. It's everybody else. It's deflect, deny, move on, especially if it has to do with me making a change and being better. And it's really messed up. Look at what you're showing your daughter. You're showing your daughter never to accept responsibility for anything in her life, any of her wrongdoings. It's everybody else's fault all the time. Porsha should have used this moment to apologize to Dennis and move forward. And honestly, truth be told, Porsha don't even need to be with Simon. Porsha need to be by her damn self, and she needs to go to therapy and identify why she can never accept responsibility for her actions. That's what she needs to do, because it's really getting very unacceptable and very unnecessary, and the world is looking at you like you a fool. And the world is me. I think you are a fool. I'm just so sick and tired of Porsha and her stuff. She's looking at the situation with Dennis and not understanding that this man is crying out for you to be organized. He's tired of the wayward way that you're trying to deal with their child and him. He's like, you know what? I got to get the courts involved because you're not listening. If it's not about you and it's not about what you want to do, you don't want to hear it. And that's not how I function. Dennis is a businessman and a good father. And just because he doesn't want to dance to your music, he shouldn't be subjected to your bullshit. And so he did what he needed to do. He got the paperwork involved. And I would have did the same damn thing, because you over here living in La La Land. Your brain is very Disneylandish. You think that it's some magical happy ending all the time to stuff that's in your favor. And that's just not how life works, ma'am. You have to deal with other people and their opinions, and you have to accept responsibility for your stupidity. Because all in all, Porsha created this entire situation. All of this shit that's happening is her fault. And I see how production is bringing light to all her bullshit. It's amazing to me. They must have really been doing some serious protecting of Porsha's image, because now the way that they have really pulled the wool from our eyes, it's crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Porsha, you're not getting a season 2. Let's just be very clear about that. So now you're going to have to go crawling back to RHOA. And this whole situation with Dennis in Mexico lets me further know the reason why, and this is alleged, and this is my opinion, I feel like Porsha quit all her jobs because everybody was going to see this and see how dumb she looks. and they weren't going to support her anyway. And she would have lost ratings or whatever the case may be on Dish, and because she didn't want to deal with having to apologize. You go to the ends of the earth as far as quitting your jobs and doing all these things just so you don't have to apologize. That is scary. And it's absolutely insane that a grown woman will go through all these lengths just to not have to apologize to somebody and accept responsibility for her actions. Get some help, Porsha, because Pilar don't need to be seeing this behavior. And frankly, your relationship with Simon is not going to help last that long either if you continue to have this mindset. And both of y'all seem to be delusional together. So I'm out of here, y'all. I pray that Dennis gets it together and he can figure out something with a co-parenting situation that's actually healthy and makes sense, and he can get from under Porsha's wing, because Porsha crazy and ain't nobody got time for that. So thank y'all for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you everybody for commenting on this video and joining me in the chat. I so appreciate you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.